So, Paige Beckers. She is a really, really, really good player. But we're gonna have to have a little bit of a conversation here. We're gonna have to start a dialogue. Yes, Paige Beckers is incredible. Don't get it twisted. Paige Beckers is absolutely brilliant. And I'm not taking away from how good Paige is. But like, we are looking at the same WNBA media, the same like reality is coming, like Caitlin Clark won't be good. People that, the same Caitlin Clark doesn't deserve to be on the Olympic team. The same people that to this day are like, Caitlin Clark, was she even really the best rookie? Still implying that Caitlin Clark wasn't ready. Some of these people are still implying that Caitlin Clark wasn't ready for the WNBA, despite the fact she won the top 3 rookie years ever. These same people are talking about Paige Beckers, and I've heard the quote, she's already good, she's already a pro. She's already a pro playing in college. She's just waiting to get to the WNBA. And I'm like, she literally chose to go back. She chose to go back. It's like, oh, well, no, she's too good for this. As like not like, oh, Caitlin's too good for college or Juju's just too good for college. She's waiting to go WNBA. It's like, she literally chose to go back. She chose to go back. Of course she's dominating against kids. She chose to go back and she's exceptional. She was exceptional as a freshman and now she's 23 years old beating up on 18-year-olds. I think she's going to be 23 years old beating up on 30-year-olds in the WNBA. But at this point in time, she's a 23-year-old beating up on 18-year-olds. And that's just a fact. But yet, the same people that would be talking about Caitlin Clark's college career and some of the stuff with her, when it comes to Paige Beckers, it's now, oh yeah, like, she's ready. She's ready to go pro. You know what? She's going to come right in and dominate. It's like, they are writing checks that Paige Beckers has to cash. I'm sorry, like, all their hopes and dreams are on Paige Beckers. And they're going to be so disappointed when Paige Beckers averages 15, 5, and 5. Like, they're going to be so disappointed when Paige Beckers is just a really, really good rookie. And by 15, 5, and 5, you're like, oh, that's just not good enough. No, that's going to win Rookie of the Year. That is going to win Rookie of the Year. And I stand by that. 15, 5, and 5 will win Rookie of the Year. Like, people are acting like Ryan Howard wasn't an all-star as a rookie. What did she average in her first season? I want to see if I can find what she averaged her first season. But in Ryan Howard's rookie year, there is no way of finding her averages. Oh my god. WNBA's website is the worst thing ever, by the way. But like, she averaged about 15 points a game. That was there or thereabouts. Like, 15 points a game, a lot of time will get you an all-star. Aaliyah Boston averaged like 14 points a game as a rookie. She was all-star starter. Paige Beckers is going to be, if you're talking about the vote, she's going to be second behind Caitlin Clark. And she's going to have the players voting her in. She's going to be an all-star. She's going to average about 15, 5, and 5. And that was the numbers Caitlin Clark averaged in her first month. But at the same time, like, she is, she's that level of player. She is really good, but I hate the hypocrisy of it all. I hate the hypocrisy of the like, oh, Paige Beckers is everything. The way they're describing Paige Beckers is the way they should have been talking about Caitlin Clark. They're talking about Paige Beckers as a generational prospect, which she is. And this is where the problem is like, it's not necessarily that anything these people are saying about Paige Beckers is wrong. It's that it was such a double standard because they wanted to put down Caitlin Clark. Why? Because they didn't like who Caitlin Clark's fans were. Simple as that. They have nothing, none of these people have anything against Caitlin Clark. It is they did not like who Caitlin Clark's fans were. They were pissed off that while they were gassing Paige, because we've seen posts from Caitlin Clark about Caitlin Clark her freshman year in college being like, why is she not getting more recognition when she was pulling from 30? It's like, why is she not getting more recognition than Paige? And all this stuff about UConn bias and all this stuff. We've seen these posts as early as 2021 about Caitlin Clark and about Paige getting UConn bias. It's just unfortunate that while they were all, oh, Aaliyah Boston, Paige Beckers, we got to support UConn and South Carolina. The people that were like, well, no, there's this girl in Iowa who's better than both of them. This is from 2022. They don't like the fact that the people who were like, well, she's just better, happen to be the Barstool Bros, the Dave Portnoys of the world, who were hyping Caitlin Clark since 2022, since they decided to ignore her because Paige went to UConn and Aaliyah Boston went to South Carolina. The reality is that that's the situation. That's where it's all come from. They were last to the Caitlin Clark hype. These people who were the traditional WNBA media didn't care about anything other than UConn. They didn't care about anything other than South Carolina and Dawn Staley. Maybe whatever team Kim Mulkey was coaching. But they didn't care about any of these. So because of that, they were late to the Caitlin Clark hype train. And also, they then, because of this situation, thought they had to pick a side. And they thought that if you chose the side of Caitlin Clark, even if it had nothing to do with anything other than the fact that she puts the ball in the basket, you were a racist. Like, that was the narrative that they caused, and they've dug their own hole. But now, you can see, they're now able to treat Paige Bueckers, like she's a normal basketball player. They can actually talk about her like she's a basketball player. They can talk about how she's going to translate to the pros. They can do all this. But yet, when it comes to Caitlin Clark, still to this day, they cannot talk about Caitlin Clark as a basketball player without bringing some nonsense into it. And it's the same people over and over and over again. And the reason why this is a problem, is because these are the people that the WNBA, whenever the WNBA are doing something themselves, these are the people that they bring on. Like, you're not going to be seeing, I don't think you're going to be seeing Annie Constable being brought on as a journalist in WNBA situations, but you're going to be seeing I wouldn't be surprised if you see your one Roberta being brought into WNBA situations. The one who basically said the only reason why the Seattle Storm, Jewel Lloyd fought with Noelle Quinn is because the owners are white. Like, those type of people are going to get brought in. Heck, we've seen the comparing Caitlin Clark to I'll use the word SS. I don't even want to spell the words, but the first S is a place where kids go from like 9 to 3 most days, 9 to 3, 4, 5 most days. And then the second S is shooter. We've got that person showing their WNBA credentials, that they've been going courtside to games on WNBA credentials, and they've called Caitlin Clark that, and they'll be unhinged about her on social media. But that's the problem with that, is that these people, some of these people can be completely, and that's the annoying thing, is like, they can be completely impartial. They can talk about a Paige Bueckers like she's a basketball player. They can talk about her strengths and her weaknesses as a basketball player and not mention anything else. But when it comes to the other generational guard that this game has seen, they refuse to talk about her basketball because they realize that if they talk about her basketball, they would have to admit that she's the best young player the game may have ever seen. Because she's changing the game. And to be fair, I think maybe they're doing that in a way because the quote-unquote new media, the people that may be looking to take their jobs as the WNBA, as some of the journalists that are talked about in the WNBA, you're seeing more and more traction towards someone like a Robin Lundberg of Sports Illustrated. You're seeing Annie Constable getting more mainstream traffic because they're willing to report on the sport as is. You might be like, oh, these people only report on Caitlin Clark. Like, this is my YouTube homepage just showed up. Robin Lundberg talking about Juju Watkins and talking about Juju Watkins. Even if it is with Caitlin Clark, putting name Caitlin Clark gets views. But he'll talk about Juju, talk about all these things. But the reality is that we've got to be able to talk about these players like they're players. And the hypocrisy of talking about her, talking about how she's ready for pro, what she's going to do, what she's going to help with the Dallas Wings. But yet when it comes to Caitlin Clark, it's, should they really have not drafted Cardoso number 1? Like, that was like the first thing people were saying. It's like, why? Because Cardoso beat her in a game where she had a whole team of 5 stars and Caitlin Clark needed to drop 18 points in the first quarter to just be in the game in the first place. I don't know. It's annoying.